This is Russell Copeland, former NFL player for the Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, and Green Bay Packers. Last week on my broadcast, the title was the scrutiny of Lamar Jackson. That was part one. This is going to be part two, the scrutiny of Lamar Jackson. And from the information gathered yesterday at the press conference for the Baltimore Ravens, it is very clear that the Baltimore Ravens want Lamar Jackson to be their quarterback for now and for the future. They want him to retire as a Baltimore Raven. John Harbaugh came out and stated that he's 200% sure that Lamar Jackson will be the quarterback in this upcoming season. This is 2023. We just finished 2022. The general manager, Eric DaCosta, said that he's confident that Lamar Jackson will be the quarterback this upcoming season. And he's confident that a long-term deal would be worked out. He went on to say that Lamar Jackson will have a say-so in the new hiring of the new offensive coordinator since Greg Roman stepped down yesterday. And I want to get into the numbers a little bit because Lamar Jackson represents himself. And I think that's very important when you talk about negotiations and you're talking about the leverage. Lamar Jackson is playing on his rookie contract. His rookie contract was a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option. That 5th-year option was $23 million. The contract itself was a 4-year, $9 million contract with $7 million in guaranteed. I do not think that the Baltimore Ravens thought at this point in time, 4 years later, that Lamar Jackson would have the leverage that he has now. I don't think they were banking on him being an MVP player. It's obvious that he has outplayed those expectations and he has outplayed his contract. So now they exercised the $23 million. He's definitely earned that. But when you look at a player represent himself, it's really different. It's odd. You don't see that happening too many times. So when it goes to the numbers of the $130 million, from what I understand, of the guarantee, Lamar Jackson said, no, I don't want that. So he went on and played this season, and Lamar has been a team player. He's had a positive attitude. But I think things have changed over the past couple of weeks, especially when you see him not dressing out the last game. And you look at his social media page, his Instagram page, where he specifically said, more like a parable, that you take care of the ones who take care of you. And it's clear that he felt like the Baltimore Ravens were not taking care of him. They have not taken care of him, and he has been a great player, and he has been loyal. As far as the skepticism for Lamar Jackson, there's going to be skeptics. There's going to be criticism about Lamar Jackson. And the scrutiny will be there for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has a 400-yard passing game. There's some skeptics and critics that will say something about that. He's an MVP. That MVP year, he had over 3,000 yards passing, 36 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. And I'm not even going to talk about the running part of it. There are some that'll say something about that. He's won 73% of his games. You'll have some that'll say something about that. He's completed 64% of his passes. He's thrown for over 12,000 yards. To be exact, I think it's 12,209 yards. And he's thrown for 101 touchdowns. If you take the name off of those statistics for a first-year quarterback, for a quarterback in his first 4 years, you would say, with an MVP, you would say that he's definitely a franchise quarterback. He's going to be a great player in this league for a long time. Let me say that again. If you take off his name and you put those stats, let's just take those stats and put it in front of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield will still be the Browns quarterback, and Deshaun Watson would not have been traded for. Let's put those numbers in front of Sam Darnold. He would still be the Jets quarterback, and the Jets would be in the playoffs, and they would not have went to the draft again and picked a quarterback, number 2, in Zach Wilson, who seems like he's not going to get it done either. Daniel Jones, the 6th overall pick in 2019, has not played up to par, has not played up to the quarterback, the billing, as the 6th overall pick. He's had his best year so far this year under Brian Dable. Now you have a lot in the media outlets saying Daniel Jones is going to get paid this year. But coming into this season, the Giants did not even pick up his 5th-year option. They didn't pick it up. So the play on the field what Lamar Jackson has is his time to get paid because it's already slotted. You know, quarterbacks are the highest paid players in the National Football League. They have set and they have reset the market value for the past 2 decades, signing massive, unprecedented contract extensions. And I'm going to go back to 2001 and kind of get up to where we are now with the guaranteed contract. Well, in 2001, Brett Favre became the first $1 million football player in the National Football League to ink $100 million. 10 years, $100 million. That same year, it was reset again by Drew Bledsoe, who signed a 10-year, $103 million deal. A few years later, Peyton Manning, the great Peyton Manning, reset the market again at $99.2 million. Record-setting $34.5 million guaranteed. That was in 2004. That same year, Michael Vick reset the market again. 10-year, $138 million, around $37, $38 million guaranteed. And that's how the market has been reset and set so often by the quarterbacks. I'm not going to go down the entire list because we'll be here all day. But I'm going to go up until now when you look at Patrick Mahomes. 2020, Patrick Mahomes signs a huge contract for $450 million. The great Patrick Mahomes. $450 million, 10-year deal. And with that 10-year deal, you got $141 million that's been guaranteed, $45 million average. So for me, it was only a matter of time before a quarterback was going to get a fully guaranteed contract. So when everything is about Lamar Jackson and it's about the $230 million contract, it's like the fully guarantees. But is it really about the $230 million guaranteed? Or is it about the $230 million guaranteed to whom it was given to? It was given to Deshaun Watson. Let me say that again. Follow me. Is it really about the $230 million guaranteed? Or is it about whom the $230 million guaranteed was given to? And that is Deshaun Watson. I think the $230 million deal, if it was given to Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, I don't think that we'll be saying anything about it. And these two quarterbacks will be negotiating this offseason. It's going to be interesting to see what they get because I'm definitely going to be on top of it. So please tune in. And after you see Lamar Jackson, after you see Justin Herbert, and after you see Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes has a 10-year deal. He's going to be going back to the table very, very soon. So for me, as far as negotiations, I want all of the players to be able to get all the money that they deserve. We just witnessed what happened to Damar Hamlin. So you're risking your life. You're playing in front of millions of people, but at any point in time, your career could change with one tackle, one hit. So I want the players, I'm all for the players, to get all the money that they deserve, especially up front. And how negotiations work, first, number one is you don't even hear anything about negotiations. The next thing you see is a headline. This particular player inks a massive deal with this particular team. Number two is you do hear about the negotiations. You hear that there's issues within the contract with a particular player, and quite often that player is looked at negatively. He has issues with his contract. He wants this, he wants that, and the team may have to part ways. And that leads me to number four. The team will trade that player, or he'll ask to be traded. But going back to number three, there are players that have been well compensated with their performance on the field and the contract that they receive. They have been well compensated. For me, I say, whoa, who is his agent? That contract for him? I don't know what he's paying that agent, but that is a great contract for what he has done on the field. Just going to throw a couple of names out to you. Sam Bradford. From 2010 to 2017, Sam Bradford made $159 million in guaranteed with a record of 34, 48, and 1. Often injured, wasn't on the field a lot, but he had $159 million in guaranteed. Derek Carr. 2017, Derek Carr signed a contract that made him the highest paid player in the National Football League. 5-year, $125 million, $70 million in guarantees, no playoffs. Hadn't won a playoff game, hadn't been to the playoff game. It's just last spring, he signed another extension for $121 million, 3 years, $65 million guaranteed, and he is 0 for 1 in the playoffs. The same player that walked off on his team this year because he was benched. I hear on different news outlets that he's going to receive a lot of money. He's going to have a lot of offers. Jimmy G, backed up for Tom Brady and the Patriots, played a few games. He signs a deal with the Patriots for after he leaves the Patriots, $137 million to go to San Francisco. $74 million guaranteed. Then there's Brock Osweiler. Backs up for Peyton Manning, plays a few games, goes to the Texans, signs a 4-year, $72 million contract, 37 guaranteed. Kirk Cousins. We know about the struggles that Kirk Cousins has in the postseason. We know that on Sunday nights and Monday nights, he simply can't win a game in the bright lights. This past weekend, last week, wild card, 4th and 8. You've got arguably the best wide receiver in the game. You throw a 1-2-yard pass. Lose the football game after leading your team to a 13-4 record. Then there is Chase Daniels. Chase Daniels has been in the National Football League for 13 years as a career backup. He's only started 5 games, but he's made well over $41 million. So when it comes to money, when it comes to quarterbacks, and it comes to the scrutiny of Lamar Jackson, I have broke it down to you. We decide and decipher who do we want to talk about as far as contracts. What Lamar Jackson has done on the football field is his time. It's his time to negotiate. It's well-deserved. And I think the Ravens understand that. The Ravens were not going to continue to play chicken with Lamar Jackson and end up having to trade Lamar Jackson because he has severed the relationship with them. They did not want to end up like the Houston Texans. I have broken it down for you. I have given you some knowledge, something for you to think about. Again, this is Russell Copeland, 6-year former NFL player for the Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, and Green Bay Packers. Please tune in to my station, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe.